I'm addressing the commission again tonight on the rule change to allow citizens to address the body on non-agenda matters. Have you thought about the rule actually doesn't prevent or say citizens can't address issues that are on non-agenda matters. The rule doesn't say that. It just says that we may address the commission on matters that are on the agenda. It doesn't rule out that we can't. And why is that? Why do you think the rule's written that way? It's tricky legal language so that we can't challenge a rule that is oppressive of a constitutional right. We can't attack the rule. So if we're going to challenge oppression of the right to address those invested with the powers of government, then we've got to challenge the chairperson or the commission for oppressing that right. And then we've got to get over the hurdle of all these false qualified immunities that have been created for public officials. So it's trickery that it does this. So I encourage this commission to come back into compliance with the Constitution of this state, that citizens have a right to address those invested with the powers of government by address, Article 1, Section 23 of the Constitution of the state of Tennessee. Come back into compliance with that. And I want to share a little bit of history with you. This book, it's a treatise on constitutional limitations. This is the most cited book on constitutional law, or one of the most cited books. The Supreme Court of the United States has repeatedly cited this book. In 1995, they said the great constitutional scholar, Thomas Cooley. In a 2008 opinion, they said the most famous was the judge and professor Thomas Cooley, who wrote a massively popular 1868 treatise on constitutional limitations. This book was written in 1883, and let me tell you what Justice Cooley said. He said, the right of the people to petition the government for redress of grievances is one which would seem unnecessary to be expressly provided for in a Republican government, since it results from the very nature and structure of its institutions. Cooley's saying, I'm surprised we even got to write this down. This is like saying you have a right to breathe air. It is ridiculous that we even have to write this down. And he says, it is impossible that this right could be practically denied until the spirit of liberty had wholly disappeared and the people had become so servile and so debased as to become unfit to exercise the privileges of free men. And he goes on and he says, it may right many a wrong, and a deprivation of it would at once be felt by every free man as a degradation. The right of petitioning is a necessary consequence of free speech and deliberation, a simple, primitive, and natural right. And as a privilege, it is not even denied the creature in addressing the deity. So when you say we can't address you because it's not on the agenda, you put yourselves above God. That's what it's doing. And you swore an oath to support the Constitution of this state. And to violate that oath is the very definition of perjury under Tennessee Code annotated. This right, historically, well, let's put this into more terms that we can understand in our times today and why this right is so important. Did you guys hear about Benton County? We had a school teacher down there, also I think a former commissioner, he's been accused of raping children in the school, young boys. And everybody in the town knew about it. Everybody's like, oh, this is strange. You know, Stokes is riding around with these young boys. Everybody knew what was going on, and it didn't come to light. Charges weren't made until a bunch of people got out with street signs and said, we've got a pedophile abuser teacher in the school. And so then it came to light, then it was investigated, and he didn't go to court, so they had to go arrest this commissioner. What should happen is when we have situations like that, we should become able to come to our legislative bodies or to the school board and say, you know, we have this right to address you, and we've got a problem with this person in government. That's a big part. It's a right to petition for redress of grievances. That's a big part, and I'm out of time, and I have a lot more to share on this. But I encourage the body to come into compliance with the Constitution. And really quick on term limits, it doesn't matter. Black, white, Christian, Jew, Republican, Democrat, doesn't matter if you're man or woman, doesn't matter the education level from a plumber to a PhD. Everybody in this country wants term limits. And certainly for our county commission and here, power is inherent in the people, Article 1, Section 1, and to deny that power inherent in the people is to say power is inherent in you. It's not true. So, thank you.
Cynthia